What's up, boys? Undead here again. Today is going to be a quick video about something cool we found out yesterday on the Shadowlands beta regarding Legendaries. So, anybody who's been paying a little bit of attention to what's going on with beta, Legendaries are in the game now, but you have to go find them. They seem to have specific drop chance or drop locations. Some have found more than one drop location, but it seems consistent. Like once you find a boss that drops your legendary recipe, it typically drops from that boss, maybe one other. Otherwise, so far they seem like they're targetable. Granted, the drop chance from dungeons is really low. It seems the raid seems to be 100% since they're on a weekly lockout. So if you have a legendary that drops from a specific boss in the raid, it seems like it always drops. And then you just have to go craft it, because what's dropping is the recipe to make it. But anyways, one of the legendaries that we found for Rogue was Celerity. That's what I'm wearing currently. And what this is you have a chance while Slice and Dice is active to gain the Adrenaline Rush effect for 3 seconds. And this is an Outlaw legendary, obviously, because it's Adrenaline Rush. But what we found out yesterday, if you watch my buffs up here, the effect works for all 3 specs, because all 3 specs have access to Slice and Dice. Oh, come on. There we go. So we get the buff. 60% energy regen. Max energy increased by 65. Wait. I thought it was supposed to be only 50. And attack speed increased. So, this is actually super fun as subtlety. It makes single target feel like really clean. You get enough procs in between that you can just have infinite energy as sub in single target, which is much different from how sub typically works, right? Like typically the way sub works is you have to situate your energy so that inside your symbols of dance or your symbols of death and your shadow dance, you have enough energy to get a global off with every you can cast a spell every global, right? Otherwise, you can starve yourself and you can waste some of your cooldown. But with this, even outside of dance and outside of symbols, you are just like continuing to blast, which in turn gets you back into dance faster, which is really, really cool. I think today, when we stream today, I'm going to play Assassination most of today. I've been playing sub for the past like week or so, kind of neglecting the other 2 specs just because I've been having so much fun. So I think we'll probably play Assassination today and try that out as well, see if this helps with Assassination's energy issues. But I just wanted to talk about how I think this is good, and I hope that this doesn't get changed. Especially because the acquisition is cool, or is not easy, but easier than Legion, it seems. So if we think back to Legion, the only example I could think of this was for Druids. Resto Druids used a Feral Ring for energy regen and max energy. So in keys where you're playing Feral Affinity and most of what you were doing was damage, just because that's the way keys worked in Legion, there was not as much group-wide healing needed. The existence of Blood Decay in the meta and consumption had a lot to do with that. And generally, tanks were just very self-sufficient. So healers spent a lot more time DPSing then than even in BFA. So they used a Feral Ring. And bears, for a good period of time, used the shoulders that were the balance shoulders that caused Moonfire to do extra damage. And when you Moonfired something, you Moonfired a second target. And that combined with the Galactic Guardian talent, causing them to proc Moonfires, just did a lot of damage for them. And I always thought those interactions were really, really, really cool. The issue in Legion, obviously, being that you had to get all your legendaries. So, as Bear, obviously you're hunting for like your Bear legendaries, but until you get all your Bear legendaries, you feel bad swapping to balanced loot spec to try to find the balanced legendaries. So, with that issue being removed essentially by things being targetable, and you don't have to have the correct loot spec to get the legendary to drop. It'll just drop if you kill the correct boss. Like I was subtlety loot spec when I got this legendary recipe to drop, even though it's an outlaw recipe. So I think that's super cool, and that got me thinking like what other rogue legendaries could function like this, because so many classes have like cross-pollination of spells now. Like a lot of things that were spec specific are now like across the class. So we're gonna take a look at the legendaries real quick and see what we could use. And now obviously these are generic ones, so whatever. Dashing Scoundrel actually, I guess it doesn't give a buff. I was thinking that Envenom is technically just Eviscerate becomes Envenom, right? So Eviscerate is here, and then when you spec to Assassination, Eviscerate just becomes Envenom. So I was thinking maybe that buff could work, but I guess you don't get a buff from using Eviscerate. So like you see how you just lose Eviscerate in your general, it becomes Envenom. I guess you don't get a buff from Eviscerate, so this probably doesn't do anything. This likely will not have cross-pollination. This likely will not have anything. This might, right? Like, we have poisons now on all our specs. You could even spec into Slaughter Poison by being a Venthyr, or you can have additional bleed by being a Necrolord, and have this, assuming this affects it. The Assassination Mastery affects these things, so I'm assuming that the Legendaries will as well. So you could use this as an execute legendary for other specs. Like Outlaw will have poisons, and Sub will have poisons and bleeds. Outlaw can have bleeds as well if you're Bone Spike. And this effectively giving you an execute could see some use on other specs, and I think that would be cool. This obviously we talked about. This was the first example we found where it does work. These affect Sinister Strike and Tweeny Eyes, so these will likely not work. Akari's Soul Fragment, this could obviously work with just cheap shots. Maybe this has PvP implications, like maybe getting free damage off a cheap shot is more valuable than these other legendaries for Assassination or Outlaw. I don't know, we'll have to mess with stuff when we get it. I'm assuming this will also work for all three specs. Vanish grants 5 combo points, increases all damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds. This could be very useful. Assuming we get to a place where we can wear more than one legendary. As long as we can only wear one, I'm not sure that you wear this, but this could be very cool in combination with Master Assassin for all three specs, even though it's a subtlety legendary. So I hope that works for everything, especially Outlaw, man, because you're going to be vanishing so much as Outlaw because of the way Restless Blades works. You can get Master Assassin plus free 5 combo points and a 15% damage amp. Like, Outlaw's going to do some dumb stuff, man. But yeah, that could be cool. And then Finality. If the buff of this lasts, I don't know the duration on this buff or if it's indefinite, but this being able to just buff ruptures could be cool. If Eviscerate works, like if this works, it might work with Dispatch and Envenom because again, Eviscerate is the base skill, and when you spec into Outlaw or Assassination, Eviscerate becomes Dispatch or Eviscerate becomes Envenom. So it might be coded in a way that they're considered Eviscerates. And then maybe Finality is chill on those specs too. But I hope that when Blizzard recognizes this is a thing, I hope that they just leave it, man. I think like having options for this kind of thing, and then if like something is like obviously OP, like there's a random ass Fire Mage legendary that's like insane for Arcane. It's better for Arcane than it is Fire. I hope that they just do tuning, and instead of locking you to like you'd only wear this with this spec, or they make it not work, because I think it's really interesting. And it'll also be cool for people to not feel so bad, like if you don't have as much time to play and grind out, like even though these legendary recipes are targetable, I don't know how quickly you're going to be able to just collect them all. You know what I mean? Like you kind of, to a certain extent, are at the mercy of RNG, right? So I hope that they leave it. So if you get the wrong legendary, it might still have use for the spec that you want to play, and you're not just screwed because you got the wrong thing. So curious what you guys think. I don't know if you enjoyed that kind of cross-spec legendary thing, if you played Druid in Legion, or maybe there were other examples in Legion too. I'm curious. I was trying to think of some today before I got on here, but I couldn't figure out any instances of that happening. So just for curiosity's sake, please let me know if you know any other ones. Let me know what you guys think about this. What do you think specifically about the Celerity being used as Assassination and Sub? And if you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel so you can check out the next videos when they come. Hopefully tomorrow, we are praying. Tomorrow is a new beta build, and we are praying for Mythic Plus. There's rumored that it was supposed to be this past week. We don't actually know anything, But rumored it was supposed to be this past week, and like something just went wrong, so they pushed it off. So fairly confident we're getting some tomorrow, and that'll be sick. We'll have Mythic Plus videos. Hopefully I can get like 15s done everything relatively quickly and post some videos for you guys to watch, just the playthroughs of the dungeon. So thanks again for chilling. Peace.